All right, everyone. So in this lesson, I'm going to be showing you how I scaled further with extremely broad audiences instead of lookalike audiences. So the requirement for this is that you test a lot of creatives. So at this point, I had already tested a lot of creatives, and I showed you in the last lesson how you can make winning creatives, and this is the best one that came out of that. So I was testing a bunch of different scroll stoppers, a bunch of creatives, and I found this one, which was extremely profitable. And so this is the one that I scaled the most to 10 million views. And this creatives was so profitable that I didn't even need to use lookalike audiences. So at the start, I was using lookalike audiences for that first video that I showed you because, it was a little bit more niche. It wasn't as good of a video that, I could just target anyone and it would be profitable. But this video was so effective at, the cut and band-aid method that I explained and really making people want to get this product that I could target extremely broad audiences and let Facebook optimize for me and it would be profitable. So let me show you what I mean. So this campaign here, I had a campaign called, if I go to amount spent, this campaign right here, I was targeting EPAC countries and then just demographics and interests. So this is the campaign that I spent the most on after retargeting. And as you can see, this campaign only had a return on ad spend of 1.7, but that's okay because first of all, the break even was 1.55. And then second of all, look at all this traffic I was getting, 100,000 website visitors. These are all people that I can retarget, right? And so if I can retarget all those people, with the return on ad spend of 2.6, then the blended ROAS is going to be around 2. And so blended ROAS is like the combination of, you're taking a hit at the start to get people to know about your brand, and then you can retarget them. And then if you combine those two, you get a ROAS that's combined, in this case, it was 1.93 overall blended ROAS. And so let me show you what kind of ad sets I was targeting here. So if I go to amount spent, so this one wasn't doing very well, but as you can see, most of these ad sets that I spent a lot on, so like this one is literally ePacket targeting 18 to 55. So it's targeting everyone. This one is literally just 18 to 55 ePacket. So this is a saved audience that I have. This is all the ePacket countries, English languages, and then feeds only. And then that was it. And then a lowest cost with a bid cap of $50. And I had this running, and as you can see, it was profitable. This is about 20% profit margins, and I was able to spend 3.6K and get 7.2K back. And so I had a bunch of these. This one is the exact same thing except engaged shoppers. Once again, profitable. And then this one is just a duplication of it. And these audiences are so big, right? Like how big is one of these audiences? It's 120 million people, right? So you can duplicate all you want. You're not going to have audience overlap. And so, I was targeting broad interests as well. Like this one is just Netflix. And as you can see, 120 million potential reach. So it's doing great. Engaged shoppers, same thing. I had all these different audiences that are just extremely broad audiences that I was testing and I was spending a lot on. And then I was trying to narrow in a bit. So, I broke it down by age, and I saw that the 35 to 55 age range was profitable, and so I narrowed it down to that. And it didn't make that big of a difference, honestly, because this is such a general product. And so that's why most of these ad sets are just 18 to 55, because I didn't really have to narrow down. All I needed to do was just increase the budget, duplicate, and just keep increasing the budget as much as I could realistically, because pretty much everything I was throwing at it was profitable with this ad because this was such a good ad. So this is the important of finding a really good ad and testing relentlessly. And as you can see, these are all extremely broad audiences. Netflix. And this is another trick that I like to use as well. This is a CPP country, so low cost per purchase countries. So I went out of this campaign and then I broke it down by countries, and I sorted by the highest ROAS, and I picked the top countries that had a decent amount of purchases and a really high ROAS. So in this case, it was Ireland, New Zealand, Canada, Singapore, Australia, Hong Kong. And so this is low cost per purchase countries, and I just threw them in an ad set together, and as you can see, 2.55 ROAS. And these are all extremely broad audiences, right? And the fact that I had this really good ad is what allowed me to do this, and then I could retarget and make a killing and be extremely profitable with these audiences. So, a lot of people think that there's some kind of secret strategies to Facebook, and the truth is that if you have something good, pretty much everything you throw at it will work on Facebook. So the question is how do you get your funnel to the point where you have a great ad, a great product, and a great offer, and everything just works? And the way to do that is to relentlessly test different ads. And so I had to test a lot of ads to do this. And eventually I found this one, which was, the perfect ad that I could scale to, extremely broad audiences. So, this one is just Spotify. I would try to narrow it down a lot of times, and the results just wouldn't change that much. Like whatever I did, it would still be quite profitable. And so I started spending an extreme amount on these audiences profitably, and it was extremely easy to manage these ads. All I had to do was increase the budget, and then every few days I would kill the ad sets that weren't working. So I would look at the last 3 days of data, kill the ad sets that were below my break-even point, and then I would create more ad sets similar to those that were working. And so the result is that I had this army of ad sets that were profitable, and everything that wasn't profitable, I would just pause it, and I would create new ones that resembled the ones that were profitable. So that's how you really scale to broad audiences. You don't need you don't need to have extremely narrow audiences all the time. And a lot of people don't even think to test broad audiences like this, but they can work extremely well, especially for general products. So that's it for this quick lesson on scaling to broad audiences.